And now we're going to listen to ballast water treatment, considerations for the retrofit period. So please give a hand to Anders Lindmark, Vice President and Head of Pure Ballast. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pernilla. My name is Anders. We're going to talk about my passion, my favorite subject, treatment of ballast water on board marine vessels. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our offering from Alfa Laval into this market. And in the end, also share some of our experiences from retrofit installations. However, I thought I'll just make sure that we are all on the same ground when it comes to the regulations and the legislations that is impacting this and the reason why we talk about this subject. The IMO Ballast Water Management Convention was written already back in 2004. And actually this Friday, September 8th, it enters into force after 13 years. And what this means is that all new build vessels that are keel laid after this date need to fit a system. It also means that existing vessels already having systems installed can choose to either operate them or conduct ballast water exchange until the next IOP peer renewal survey, when the systems needs to be operated. And for existing vessels that don't have a system installed already, they need to be equipped with a system at the next IOP peer renewal survey after 8th of September 2019. Until then, they need to conduct ballast water exchange. We also have the US regulation. It is similar, but it differs from the IMO requirements. At the next scheduled dry dock, the vessel needs to be equipped with either a type-approved system or a US Coast Guard AMS-approved system. You can also have extension from the original compliance date. However, then the vessel needs to conduct ballast water exchange until the next scheduled dry dock. It's also possible to request extensions also today. However, since there became type-approved systems available from US end of last year, US Coast Guard are much more stringent with the granting extensions. Summarizing this, if you have an existing vessel without an extension, you need to fit the system if you want to discharge in US waters at the next dry dock. Then what this is telling us is that we have two regulations, they differ, and we need to look into the specific fleet for the specific owner and the specific vessel to make decisions about when is the last possible date to install a system at all. I also thought I'll share something about the certification requirements that we have as a supplier to be a part of this market. We are one of the few suppliers that have US Coast Guard type approval for our pure ballast system. We got that in December last year, actually the day before Christmas. What we have done with our pure ballast third generation system is that we have tested and passed the test for both IMO, which has a different set of requirements for evaluating the test than US Coast Guard. We have in our IMO certificate market-leading performance, and on top of that, we also have the US Coast Guard type approval, meaning that our system can be used for discharge all over the world. This is a summary of all the tests that we need to conduct to gain US Coast Guard type approval. It takes a supplier minimum 2 years. It took us 3 years to complete all the testing. And we have seen a lot of companies already back in 2013-14 sending in letter of intents stating that they will do this testing. However, still we haven't seen them applying. So I think my recommendation is when you're looking into different suppliers, and if discharge in the US is important to you, ask the supplier where they are in the testing and ask to see the results so far. Because all of us as suppliers are able to show this to you, so you can make real transparent decisions. In 1917, Alfa Laval delivered the first separator to the US Navy. So we're celebrating 100 years in Marine this year. We have also been a pioneer in the ballast water treatment business. We started R&D activities already before the millennium. We started the commercial work with our first system in 2004. We focus on UV filtration, and we have today systems that can handle flows up to 6,000 cubic meters an hour. When I made this slide, we had sold a little bit more than 1,400 systems. We're actually closing in on 1,500 today. Around 500 of them are for retrofits. So we have a substantial experience in this business, also conducting retrofits. And as I stated before, we have all the certification needed. One of the recent developments, one of the recent focuses we have had is to strengthen our portfolio for larger flows. We have single systems that can handle up to 3,000 cubic meters an hour, also in EX execution. They don't use any chemicals, no active substances. There are no temperature or salinity limitations. We have focused on modularization and ease of installation, and also ease of operation in our third generation system. And there are no requirements for monitoring and reporting active substances or TRO to any of the port states. And you can see on the picture, you can see one of the single filters for 3,000 cubic meters. This year we have sold it to KOTC, TK, Saipem, Torme, and a number of other companies that has realized the benefits of UV systems for large flows. One of the things that is discussed in the market when it comes to large flow requirements and UV systems versus the other big technology, electrochlorination, is the power consumption. And it is absolutely correct that in ideal conditions, a UV system uses more than double as much power. However, if you take into consideration the installed power you need to operate the system in the most challenging condition, in this case where we have compared it with one of the leading EC suppliers in the market, actually the EC system needs a higher amount of installed power. You need to look into the differences between the different systems, of course, but my recommendation at least is if you are a tanker operator and is looking into what ballast water treatment systems to use, look into the UV as a possibility because there are clear benefits. Then coming into our retrofit experiences from Alfa Laval in the ballast water treatment market. Summarizing it, you can say that no customer is the same, no ship is the same, no project is the same. In installing ballast or installing other equipment, this is what we know. So we need to have a flexible approach to the demand from the specific customer and to the demands of the specific vessel. Some of the key experiences we have from 10 years of conducting retrofit installations, and I've chosen to display the bad experiences we have. We have been part of projects where there has been unclear responsibilities between the parties involved, the ship owner, the equipment supplier, engineering company, installation company. In the end, we have had a lot of management discussions about who has done wrong, and it has costed the project a lot of additional money. There has been no dedicated project manager and then trying to coordinate all the parties involved. We have had delays in deliveries, wrong deliveries, in the end causing additional cost for the project. We have seen projects starting late, generating late changes in scope of supply. We have been late with our delivery, the installation has been late, and in the end the project has been, you have an additional cost for the project. We have had situations where we haven't checked the vessel carefully enough, for the installation height of the filter, or the backflush pumping capacity available. So we have had a system that we couldn't install according to plan, causing additional cost. And we have seen several projects where there hasn't been enough knowledge for the parties involved actually to execute the project. These are some of the things we are taking with us to the way that we're executing projects today. And I summarize it like this. If you want to minimize the technical complexity in making a ballast water treatment retrofit installation, make sure that you handle the project correct. Project management here is key. Invest time in the beginning of the project. Make sure that all the involved parties know exactly what to do. Take the time to do that Excel sheet and where the responsibilities are clear. Educate the customer, the engineering company, the installation company in the specific technology and the specific supplier's product. And take enough time. Take minimum 9 months, but preferably at least 12 months from start to end of the project. I also think it's important that you involve us as a supplier. Make sure that we have a responsibility to educate your project team, the engineering company, the installation company in the specific system. Also, what we are doing is that we're doing a review of the engineering that is done by a third-party engineering company, adding our experience to their work. And for the first project, my suggestion is that you also use us to supervise and be part of the installation, sharing our knowledge to the project team that is responsible. Being one of the leading suppliers in marine and also being a pioneer in ballast water treatment, we get a lot of questions from our customers. Typical questions are help with clarifying what the regulation means, specifically around the US regulation and the AMS program they have for temporary approvals. There are also more than 50 suppliers in this market, a number of engineering companies, a number of consultants. There is a lot of information, and actually some of the information is not correct. So we're also asked to clarify and provide transparent information about the ballast water treatment market, and especially the regulations. We are asked to comment about installation possibilities and also differences between the technologies available in this market. From Alfa Laval, we also believe that supplying the system, supplying the equipment is not enough, because port state will for sure have means to verify the discharge compliance, which is critical for the ship owner. So we have, besides the equipment, we have service products. Ambition with that is to work together with the ship owner, make sure that we have the right uptime of the system, and that we secure compliance for the lifetime of the vessel. And we have invested and added additional resources in our already global service network to be able to provide these services globally. And we have them available already today. In summary, what I presented today, from Alfa Laval, our pure ballast system has both the IMO and the US Coast Guard approvals needed for discharge globally. We believe correct project management is key to successful installations. We have a global service availability already today. We have developed a flexible system that is easy to customize for the specific vessel. We have what we believe a strong solution also for flow requirements up to 6,000 cubic meters an hour. And last but not least, we're a solid company. We've been 100 years in marine, and we will be there for the lifetime of your vessel also after the retrofit installation of a ballast water treatment system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anders Lindmark. You mentioned that no customer is the same. How can you fulfill the increased requires and demands from those individual customers?
We have, from Alfa Laval, we have a lot of customers globally. And we have been active in this ballast water treatment market for a long time. So we have invested in our service network to be prepared, added additional resources there. We have invested in specific ballast water treatment, retrofit installation, project management processes and resources. And we have, which I believe is really critical to be able to cover the retrofit period, is that together with our sub-suppliers, we have been preparing for increased delivery volumes that we expect during the retrofit period. So we have a supply chain and a production capacity that is prepared for the coming 7 years.
So investments in management and personal services is
correct.
Yeah, it's correct answer. Thank you so much, Anders Lindmark, for coming here from Alfa Laval.